Well, this is where I slept last night. I've had quite a few people over the last while, actually, well, over a couple of years actually, have asked me about making a bridge hammock, and have said, "Hey, have you ever made a bridge hammock?" And I said, "No, I haven't." So I finally got around to it. I decided to make one, so I kind of rigged one up and slept in it last night. I made this one out. This is a HD Poncho in OD green. So I just rigged it up as a bridge hammock. And so what a bridge hammock winds up doing is it gives you a U-shaped trough, kind of maybe trough's a bad word, but a U-shaped trough that you lay in here instead of being gathered on each end. And it's pretty flat. I mean, you look in there, you do lay very flat. And so I think that's something else that people like about it. It's different because you're laying flat in the bottom. Some people don't feel like that maybe they're getting squished in too much on the sides on a regular hammock, where the spreader bar kind of pushes that out, so that's not an issue. I laid on my side. Laying on my side was comfortable, it was fine. But all in all, it is a nice setup, and it's very roomy. Like if you're a stomach sleeper or something like that, or if when you lay on your side, you have to be perfectly flat or whatever, I don't know. It's a plus. Is that this is a long PSSL, and normally in a hammock I would like to use a PSSL because you're tapering at the head and foot. It's wide, just as wide here as at the bottom as it is in the middle. I could use a PSS and be just fine for length. Yeah, I felt like I had so much room in this thing, sleeping in it, that I felt like I was in swimming, man. Because it's not gathered on the ends. It's same width all the way down. I got in here and I felt like, man, I felt like I could put 2 or 3 people in here. So it is very roomy. So I mean that's a big plus. And you could use a smaller poncho, a PSS for example, would work fine for most anybody as far as being big enough for a bridge hammock. So let me show you a little bit about how I rigged this thing up, and it's kind of jerry-rigged really. I just kind of threw some stuff together. So the way we're rigged up here is the whole shooting match is all hanging from the tarp tie-outs that we sew into the poncho. So here's how I rigged it. So what I've got here, as you can see, so I just ran my tab here through a piece of webbing. So anyway, this is just a piece of EMT electrical conduit, and I just shoved it up into the webbing like that, and then this goes back from here, so that forces it to stay wide and it pulls straight out from there. So you can see on this end what I did is I just brought this little piece of polyester webbing, and I just took it from here up to here and back to that side. This end here, I just stuck a carabiner in there. I tied this thing off because I discovered that this thing would slide in the carabiner, and then that would make you lopsided in the hammock. So I need to have that needs to be stitched together right there or something so it doesn't move back and forth, so it stays in the middle. I just use a tree strap right here, and just use that to hang it up with, and that worked just fine. So as you can see, I mean, it's a very simple setup. It's nice, and as you can see, I mean, it's nice, and it's very wide and roomy all the way from one end to the other. It's just a HD poncho, and it's very, very roomy. I got up my tape measure here, so you can see we're We're about 3 feet wide with our spreader, and it's pretty flat, as you can see. Something else that I did here also is I snapped on my underquilt. So, so all the accessories still work with it. It was very nice and warm. I mean, I felt really good in it. So here I am in it, and as you can see, it's not pushing in on me as much on the sides like a regular hammock would. And I've got a small blanket, tucked under my head to give me a pillow, because this thing is virtually flat. So if I want to have a pillow for my head, I got to have a pillow to keep my head up a little bit. But anyway, then I just had my survival blanket on top of me, kind of wrapped around like this, and then I just slept through the night similar to this. I can lay on my side very easily because I'm pretty flat, and if a person wanted to lay on their stomach, it's flat enough you could lay on your stomach as well. But I can get right in here. Yeah. Let me just kind of get in, and I did sleep on my side. So this is how I slept last night. I laid on my side. I pulled the blanket clear over the top of me, and I was good to go. And I fell asleep. So anyway, there's a bridge hammock made out of our HD Poncho. So obviously, one of the questions will be, will we make an adapter kit for a bridge hammock? Will we make a separate item as a bridge hammock? And the answer today is I don't know. I'm happy enough with it that I think undoubtedly we'll make some kind of a kit with some like tent tubing. We'll use like some 5/8, probably 5/8 tent tubing, so it can kind of fold down, at least fold in half, so it's not as long. And maybe make some straps or some kind of deal for hooking in the ends or whatever. The next question would be, will we make a separate deal that would be basically be a poncho, a tarp? It would be all the regular things, but it would be a bridge hammock instead of a regular hammock. I mean, I'm totally satisfied with the bridge hammock and just using it with an HD poncho. I would say at some point here we'll probably make a bridge hammock option available in our poncho series. So that's kind of how we sit right here. I got to play with it a little bit more, like with the regular, not the HD, but the regular ponchos, and see, how that works.